seem to have gone, man, but we can still sell ourselves that dream. Before we get into all of that, we might as well start with, I won't say the boring stuff, but let's start with, I mean, no disrespect, Mikel Arteta, but your press conference is boring when we're hearing new contract rumors, when we're hearing Rafinha and all of these sort of things. But on a serious note, in relation, one love to everyone that's checked out my live stream with Mo on Twitch and everyone that saw the replay on YouTube. I've cut up certain clips, so there'll be a couple of other bits and pieces. But we might as well look at Mikel Arteta's press conference first things first before we get into everything else, because finally we were able to have a live stream where we see his comments, man. Really big up yourself, Ryan and T. I appreciate you. K, big up DJ. I hope you're doing well. Love and peace to you and yours. Right back at you. I'm doing well and safe. Shout out to your South African thugs and the whole continent of Africa while we're there. But yeah, man, it is what it is. We might as well start with the press conference because, as you know, Arsenal versus Wolves, I feel like I've spoken about the game. We know it's of increased importance. We know we need to get 3 points. We know what at this stage in the season, we know what we need to do in it. It's as simple as that. We know what we need to do. Do I think we're going to win every last one of our 15 games? Probably not, but we need to be targeting ending up on about 70 points to have half a chance, in my opinion. And yeah, man, Wolves is a big test. They're gonna probably be hypocrites if they do beat us. That's the highlight of some of their careers based on the way they're going. Definitely Ruben Neves, you've been stuck at Wolves for how long? He ain't the biggest highlight of yours is just chatting shit about our celebrations. They say Arsenal fans lack passion and the club lack passion, but they're celebrating a victory. When City celebrated beating the 10-man Arsenal side 2-1, nobody told them anything because it's bigger than us. They beat us up 9 times out of 10. The key thing is they knew what it meant for their season. At the time, we didn't have a win. Wolves are a big team. Of course, we're going to celebrate. In terms of the Prem, that's a difficult place and team to play against, definitely with what's going on now. So, of course, we're going to celebrate. I want to do the double over them. It's bigger than Wolves. It's a vital 3 points considering what we've got, to come. Obviously, we saw the results over the weekend. If we know what we need to do, I'm not going to lie. Wolves, I don't know. We needed to pick up 3 points against Brentford. I expect a good performance and an urge to beat Wolves. You need to be taking 6 points, 4 to 6 points, ideally 6 off your next 2 games. Because after the Watford game, it starts getting techie. It starts getting very brazy. It starts getting very difficult for Arsenal Football Club, more so than the rest of it. So we'll have to see. And Liverpool are fighting for the league now. The league race has become open, and we've got to play our rescheduled game. To be fair, we'd have Wolves and Liverpool out the way if it wasn't for other things, and we might be looking at things differently. But it doesn't matter if you've got 1 game or 29 games to play. Everyone plays the same amount of games. We've got to keep a cool head when we've won, cool head when we lose. But anyways, let's see what Mikel Arteta himself has said. Hit the like button if you haven't, people. Arteta on Wolves, Jimenez, the top 4 race. Apparently, it was all changed at London Coley on Wednesday as we opened the doors for an in-person press conference for the first time this season after COVID restrictions were eased, which is cool. Let's see how long this actually is first. All right, cool. And I'm not going to lie, people, if we are to read this, I'm going to need some help. I can't see shit. Pardon my French. Scrolling all the way up. On our defensive record this season, that's great. Defense wins titles. Defense keeps you in divisions. I do like the improvement in defense, and we're seeing a lot of building blocks. I still wouldn't say we're a good defensive side because I think we've got too much silly mistakes in us, even down to the goals we concede. But we're stepping in the right direction, really and truly. Tino, I'm doing well and safe, man. I don't know if top 4 is ours. I don't see us in pole position. When I see us 4th, that's when I'll believe, really and truly. But Mikel Arteta himself said, I am very impressed because it's not easy to do in this league. It comes down to, first of all, the engagement of the players, the understanding of how important that implication is, and then individually and collectively how they're able to execute it. And I do think we're looking like a bit more of a functional unit. Our first attacker is Ramsdale. We've seen good moves start with Ramsdale. Our first defender is our number 9. For all the lack of goals and whatnot, Lacazette does help in that regards. We're not all the way there yet because I don't think we're as hungry for clean sheets as we are for scoring good goals and getting 3 points, because I saw it in the second half in our last game. We switched off, really. To go to that next level, we need to keep our concentration, but we're stepping in the right direction. And you can't, from the moment Arteta walked in the door, he has improved us defensively. And I do think a big part of it is because we've been able to play the same players. There's less messing about with, for whatever reason, whether it was injuries, etc., etc. disagree respectfully. Our stats puts us among the best defensively. You're not listening, my guy. I said we're up there. We're stepping in the right direction. I just wouldn't define us as a good defensive side because we concede a lot of cheap goals and we've got a lot of young squads. As much as and like I said, that gets praised. I love it. We're doing our thing. But me as a fan, I wouldn't say we're a great defensive side or a good defensive side yet because of the goals we concede. And because of the lapses in concentration and whatnot. To be a good defensive side, you stop allowing transition so easily through your midfield. We concede a lot of cheap goals. I look at the silly penalty Odegaard conceded. I look at a couple of our midfielders against Palace losing the ball. I look at there's Ben White's silly penalty the other day. I'm not in fact, I am criticizing us in a healthy way. That's the level these players are at. That's Ben White's second season in the Prem, first year here. They're a young squad. They're going to make naive mistakes. Tavares has done a couple. Side for me is them prime Italian, man. They barely do these things. Every goal, I'm sure every team can go through and improve. I'm not, like I said, please don't misunderstand me. I've said that Arteta has improved us from the jump. We're improving defensively. And as I was expanding on as well, we have improved. I just won't say, if you was to ask me to list good defensive sides in the world, I'm not going to list Arsenal. Historically, statistically, of course, what we're doing right now, of course, it speaks for itself. But do I think we defend necessarily good from the front? Do I think we follow runners enough? Do I think our midfield is compact? Do I think we can be a bit more street smart? Do I think we can see some silly goals? Undoubtedly, yes. Two truths can live in the same realm. It's not either or. But as I was going on, yeah, we're stepping in the right direction. The moment Arteta has come into this club, he's improved us in that regard. I think a big part of it was injuries at the time, but I did think he chopped and changed. I don't think there's any coincidence. You've got a keeper you believe in. You've got centre halves you believe in. You're playing them consistently. Obviously, there's injuries and suspensions, but you're playing the back five specifically themselves. And there's a bit more, experience, and they're tying together and they're understanding each other's game. And we are moving in the right direction, as I was saying, because you look at the way Gabriel and Ben White celebrate, in particular, Ramsdale, the way they celebrate every action on the field. We're moving in the right direction. We're still a young squad. Ramsdale's one day he's going to make a mistake because at times his positioning is quite shaky. Ben White, as good as I think he's been, susceptible to a couple of lapses. Tomiyasu's had a couple of tough games. Tierney's had a couple of tough games. Gabriel's done dumb shit. Sometimes it's been nothing to do with our defense. So we're moving in the right direction, really. And I think that's one thing I give Arteta credit because I have seen the fruits of your labor being built. We've come a long way from being in a cup final. Sergio Aguero is running through on goal. What a centre half is just, rather than tracking him, is just standing at the halfway line, putting his hand up. We're moving in the right direction. But moving forward, people, it starts with the front players, as I've been saying, and you lot know how they go about the press, how intense they are, and how much they are willing to support the team in that sense. Then it's a collective thing, understanding the distances, the compactness, how you win duels, how you force the opponent to play in certain areas. That is better for our defensive structure. It's going to be really important for the future, how we maintain the rhythm and winning football matches. And that's true. And I do like the building blocks with the pressing. I do think, it's going to have to change because Lacazette's not going to be there and whatnot. But I do like the way Smith Rowe, Odegaard, Martinelli, and just other players. I do like the way we press. And I think we've pressed in many different ways. I think we've been aggressive. Like the minute it goes into certain people, press them. I think at times we've waited for people to come into certain zones. At times, I think we've waited for certain times to do. We also tend to lack control in midfield, which hinders the defense as well. Exactly. And that's where it goes back to me. You're not going to see Odegaard, all these guys develop to past a certain level. And you're not going to see our defense go to a certain level without the midfield improving. And specifically the men in the middle in the pivot. So it is what it is, man. Moving away from that, I can't disagree with what he said. On the competition at right back, competition's a bit strong, isn't it? A bit of a strong word. Exactly. But fair play. Cedric in his last 2 games has done his thing. Wouldn't say it's competition, but in theory, Tavares played well for a couple of games. Tierney had to sit on the bench. Maybe you do that with Tomiyasu. Hit the like button, people. Respectfully, if we need to get 3 points against Wolves, Cedric is back to the bench. But it is what it is. It's exactly what I want. We have players who can play in the same role with different qualities that give us different options and that you are sure they can perform at the highest level. That is the case now. On what he thinks of Wolves since we last played them, nothing's different, which what could change? They're going to be aggressive. They're going to be hungry. They're going to win. We know they're going to want to win, sorry. We know Wolves are littered with talent. We watched the game against Leicester where they weren't particularly amazing, but you saw what Neves can do, what the fullbacks can do, Pedence, dropping and twisting and turning. Make sure you don't dive in against him, really. You know, Kilman and Cody at the back, committed performances. We know what we're going to get, and they're going to be hungry, you know. I'm telling you, some of them are probably still thinking of that game against us. Some of them have probably seen Gabriel and Cole's celebration more than they've seen their wives. Some of them are trying to have kids, and they're probably focused on Arsenal players. Some of them Wolves players. This season, no matter where they finish or just the fact that they beat Arsenal, that's gonna be the highlight of their career, people. Even though Kilman and Cody probably get called up for the next England squad. And they've obviously got Pedro Neto back. Hopefully he's not back with a bang. We know Wolves are a good team. They're doing fantastic under their new manager. Like us, they're good defensively. Actually, like us, they struggle to score goals. Like us, they're trying to fight for Europe in some capacity. So on the best of days, it's a 6-pointer. It's arguably a 12-pointer, you know. Wolves is a difficult game on the best of days for us. More so this period. We've got 15 cup finals. It is what it is, you know. I think we've already seen this. Nothing different. I think they're really consistent. The work the manager and the coach and staff are doing is exceptional. They've been on a really good run in recent years. They have a really clear way of playing, and they are really competitive. It's really hard to beat them, and it will be tough tomorrow. Exactly. So let's take the good from what we did in our last game and apply it. On stressing the importance of the game to the players, as much as it's important, we've got to remember it's a game of football, and you don't want to go over the limits to the point where certain people are feeling the pressure too much. For our players, just do what you're doing. Just win your individual battles. Keep your high standards. Sit here and review. I don't think the players should put too much emphasis, just game by game. When we win, don't draw conclusions in this top 14. When we lose, do not draw conclusions. It's very volatile. Like everyone fighting, it's in our hands. It's up to us, man. Really. I think they know what every game means for us. We know where we are, and that race is going right until the end. There are a lot of clubs involved. You see very different results that you don't expect, and we play at home. The importance of getting the points when we play at home is going to be crucial to get to the destination. I mean, when I say it doesn't get anything, Arteta has said our home form, our away form hasn't been amazing this season. We've got some difficult away grounds to travel to. Respectfully, when was the last time we won at Spurs' place? You know, when was the last time we won at Stamford Bridge? You know, when was the last time we have one at St James's, but we've got to go and play a resurgent Newcastle. There's a lot of points on the board. Forgive me if I'm wrong. We got to go London Stadium and play West Ham. You know, there's a lot of tough games in general. Still got to go Selhurst Park. Still got to go St Mary's. Still, even Vicarage Road in the next game after this could be brazy, really and truly. So you never know what to expect. So it makes sense. We can't get too excited. You know, we just have to keep doing what we're doing. And he's right about the home form. Hit the like button if you can, people. 3 points for sure. I wish I shared that confidence. I have confidence in us, but I can't disrespect Wolves and say it's a defo 3 points. I looked at the Brentford game and said that's where you need to get 3 points. I'm not quite going to do that now. 15 more games to go, I believe to go. The lads have to be hungry for top 4. Beating Wolves tomorrow will definitely set the pace. W loading, hopefully, man. Anyways, people, on what could make the difference in the top 4 battle, I don't know. I think it will be a bit of a roller coaster. There will be moments when a team opens up a bit of a gap, then it catches up, as we've seen. You see the fixtures we all have to play, and they're extremely tricky. We will see exactly. So Arteta kind of agrees with me in that you're going to see a lot of narratives change. And that's one thing, you know. Do you not remember when Arsenal was getting relegated? Do you actually remember, people, when Arsenal fans said we should write off the season? Another tough period on YouTube with me, because I said, what the fuck are you lot talking about? Shows how far. And like I said, you can't draw narratives according to what's happened week in, week out. Spurs were the worst team in the world. Conte can't change it. They beat City. Things have changed. It's brazy, man. It's absolutely brazy. Absolutely brazy. So we're gonna have to see what happens, man. We're gonna really have to see what happens. We're only at 49 likes, people. That's not 100. What's going on there? So he's right. It will be a roller coaster, but this is why we need to not self-inflict further problems. This is why when we look at, okay, let's remove from the result. This is the problem with Arsenal fans. It's only when things go really, really bad that you want to talk about improvement with players and individuals and maybe ownership. You know, we did well against Brentford. We won the game. That's the main point for me. But I would say in terms of improvement, killing games. You know, you saw with Chelsea yesterday. They could have killed that Leo game in the first 10, 20, maybe took off Kovacic and these sort of players. And then there's no injuries potentially going into Sunday. Kill games. Because in terms of improvement, we played with our dinner. We didn't kill Brentford. We didn't break them down. Some of it is due to the personnel we have and we can't change it into the summer, but we didn't kill them, you know. For me as well, whether we get tired or complacent or things are going well, we need to maintain our high standards. And I think we switched off. That's why we conceded that goal that we did. The circumstances, you know, ifs and buts are not facts. But had we not have scored a second, people might be looking at Cedric and Ramsdale a bit different, and anyone else involved. People might be even harsher on Lacazette's misses. I don't know, but this is why we need to focus on the things we're doing good and apply the things that we're doing bad and do a bit more, because we are going to drop more points this season. We can't go back in time and chase back the points that we dropped. But what we can do is hold ourselves accountable. When you win, you're not as good as you think you are. When you lose, you're not as bad as you think you are. You apply that to life, you should be all right, people. No, there's no team news in relation to Arteta. It is what it is. If you don't know, then you don't know. Hopefully, Tomiyasu is back and ready with a couple of training sessions under his belt. On the reasons for Wolves' success, first of all, the recruitment policy and the players they have brought in with the qualities and character and the specificity to play. I can't even say that word, to play the way they play. Obviously, their defensive performance has been superb. The amount of goals they have conceded, the creativity they have, and the goals they have, gassing it a bit. That combination is always going to be a positive outcome. On the importance of qualifying for Champions League, I mean, we're starting to get more specific with the questions for Arteta in recent weeks. I think for the club, this is where we want to play, and this is to be the aim for every year, be playing among the best teams in the world, and that's what we want to do. That's the first time this season I've seen Mikel Arteta specifically kind of answer a question in relation to top four, and I think at this period you can't deny it. In it, Saka's spoken about it, Xhaka has spoken about it, Josh Kroenke has, Vinay has. You know, fans have eyes. You know, you need to get top four. Will feel like a bitter pill to swallow if you don't get it. Top four to top six is what man need to be aspiring to. Slap the like button if you haven't. On the possibility of the club extending his contract, which we're going to get into, nothing. Just that I'm happy here, and my aim is to try to build with the club a winning team, a team that people enjoy watching, that fans identify with, and that can transmit what we want football-wise and as an organization. On the progress made, things will happen naturally and have happened over the last few months. Our focus has to be on delivering what we want to achieve, which is true. If the club is in the best shape it's been since he's been in charge. Of course it is, without a doubt. You know, you've got some of the weasels out, for want of better phrases. You've got rid of some of the prima donnas. You've won the player power battle things. You know, you've got better players. We've actually had a decent thingy. It's right. It's all right. Deluded by name and by nature. That's why your baby mom loves me, man. You know, deluded, don't be stupid. You know, I really did this. Come on. You know the thing. But anyways, moving away from that, you know, hi to his baby mom as well. Don't get it twisted. I know he can't be like me, but it is what it is. He is finally answering. He's finally answering, because he can't, like, you have to answer it. It's in your face right now, really and truly. So yeah, in relation to the club's direction, I'm not happy with where we are. I'm not happy with where we are and where we want to be. That's for sure, because we want to be competing and really challenging the best teams in this league in consecutive seasons. We're not there yet. I think the team is evolving in the right direction, which is true. The project that we propose is happening and there are positives to take, but we are not there yet, which is true. On if he misses the Champions League, I do a lot, because as a football player, I've experienced it. And it's one of the best feelings that you can have, to be surrounded by opponents that are the best in the world and challenge yourself and evaluate yourself against that type of opposition. Then obviously as a club, you play in a competition that brings the club to a different dimension, a different impact. It's a competition that is very attached to this football club. Very attached. We ain't won it yet, man. It's crazy, man. On how the players will handle the pressure, just doing what you're doing. Pressure is a privilege. If you can't handle pressure, you should not be playing for Arsenal Football Club, really and truly. I always say, you know, you need confidence, competence, and consistency. The confidence kind of tends into pressure. When it's pressured environments, when the fans love you, it's easy to be confident. When the fans hate you, it's very different. Not saying that that's the case. When you need to do a job, get it done. You know, as much as there's bare pressure, it's just a game of football. Football means the world. It'll be a disaster. Game of football. You're not going to war. You're not performing on hearts. If you lose, you lose. So have that healthy headspace, man. Really. Bruno Lag's a very good manager. We all know he's a good gaffer and whatnot. I'm not gonna waffle on about that bit. There is going that pressure, because mathematically it is possible, but our focus has to be today. Train well today, prepare well today, be mentally ready, physically ready, tactically ready tomorrow to play a really difficult match and show it on the pitch. That should be the only aim. Bro, trust me, I'm not taking verbal from Electro Banana. Well, every need to block him. He's doing stupidness when we're trying to have a decent conversation. You can join him if you're on foolishness as well, you know. Anyways, on if we're ahead of schedule, we are where we are, and I'm happy that we are in this position and we want to make the most out of it. And again, that can be the aim and that should be the goal and the objective, but the focus has to be on today, which is true. On Conte saying you can get it wrong with your wife, but not with your strikers. When you see teams that have won championships and European competitions, and you see the teams that Conte has had in the past and the amount of goals they've scored, there is a huge relation. Yes, so he's probably right. I don't know about the comparison with the wife, but it's a good one. And obviously, Arteta being a bit smart, he knows once this press conference is done, he has to go home to the missus, innit? So, boy, you know, he might win the battle of power between Aubameyang and Ozil. You probably won't win that with your wife. So he's being a bit smart there, really and truly. But I think they're both right. You know, you can't get it wrong with your strikers. On head injuries and player welfare, listen, we all know that is bad. Obviously, every time we see Wolves and Raul Jimenez, we're reminded of such. So it is what it is. Again, we're happy to see Raul Jimenez is back, and we need to, as the quicker we can get proper action around concussions and stuff like that and learn more, the better. So I'm not going to carry on reading with that. On the club being in contact, yes, we were, of course, and David Luiz was as well. He was directly involved and really affected by that. We are colleagues in the end. We share the same profession and industry. And when something like that happens, you're emotionally involved. On Wolves being a rival for the top four, they look like it. The way they are playing, the results they're getting, the consistency they are showing. For sure, you look at the two games as well and how they played against those teams, they are going to be up there. I think this is, I can't lie, man. Every day we look at the press conferences. Listen, I make a lot of mistakes and things like that, but Arsenal, you're taking the piss. Like, you know, there's hella spelling mistakes consistently in these press conferences. You know, this looks like, again, I think this is two different things. I think this needs to be made bold and whatnot. But you're like, come on now. On Smith Rowe's 10 goals and 2 assists this season. I mean, lovely to see he's found goals. I can't lie, Smith Rowe. I thought he would have had a little more than that. The numbers should be looking something like this, and that's not a coincidence. And to be fair, he's told Smith Rowe that from the jump. Clearly, him and Smith Rowe are working well, and they're doing the job. The next step is, how far can you end up with? And the next season, can you do it again? He has willingness to do it because he knows he has the qualities and the capacity to do it. That's what we demand from players, whether they're 19, 20, or 35. On whether the England experience helps Smith Rowe, of course it did. It must have, you know, it tells you that, you know, Smith Rowe seems, I wouldn't say a confidence player. I think he's, I don't know. It seems like he's not an idiot. Like, he knows he plays for Arsenal Football Club. He's number 10. Man know they're good footballers. Man know that they're special in that. But he just, I don't know the word. He just seems cool with it. And he takes everything in his stride. I kind of want him to know that he's messed. So I don't think the England experience would have gassed him. I think it would have thought like, okay, this was a dream. It's starting to become attainable. I hope it's made the penny drop, because I'm still waiting for the penny to drop with Saka and Smith Rowe to them, so they know, all right, cool. It's not just a young and naive thing. We're the youngest in charge sort of thing. I'm still kind of waiting for that. But I wouldn't say it's helped Smith Rowe, because it seems like he takes everything in his stride. But it's probably a positive reinforcement that man's doing the right thing. And like I said, people dreamed of playing for England and all these things. He scored a goal. It caps off what's been a fantastic 18 months. That's the most impressive thing for me. Man, forget Smith Rowe has only been a footballer like this at this level for us for the last year and some change, really. You know, literally, this time last year, he was 2 months, 3 months in. Hit the like button, people. I think it's a combination of everything. It's in his nature. He needs to feel that confidence and that trust around the coaching staff that we are the right people to guide him and to take him to the next level. He needs his teammates, which are big contributors to what he can do on the pitch. He needs to feel love. He needs to have the right environment around him, his family, girlfriend, or whatever next to him. And when that happens, he's got a good chance. Listen, man don't want to hear about no Amazon documentary. So big up Arteta and his words about the documentary, but allow it, fam. I don't want to hear about it. Wilshere moving to Denmark, which we wish him the best. First of all, thank you for what he's done all the time with us. It's been great to have him. And I think I'm speaking on behalf of everyone in the club. It's been absolutely a pleasure to have Jack back, to watch him, to enjoy watching him play next to us, to have him around. The inspiration that he has is for all young people. Hopefully we can help him. We have helped him a little bit as well, because he has some doubts with what to do, whether to start coaching or continue playing. I think this group of players have given him again that necessary experience on a daily basis, how magnificent it is to feel like a football player. And I think he experiences that again. We wish him all the best. And that's good, because you did kind of see in Wilshere's comments how he was saying, listen, kind of training with Arsenal, I was gliding past, man. no brownie points for gliding past Xhaka, but kind of reminded him that he's a decent footballer. So we wish Jack Wilshere all the best, man. And he said he's come a long way. And obviously, I think Jack Wilshere will return as being a player. I don't know, man. I just think I would love for Jack Wilshere as our gaffer to win the Premier League. I just feel him not fulfilling his full potential for whatever reason as a player is going to give him more confidence. Yeah, we do need to find a role for Jack. He said it's a roller coaster end. Again, these are just summing up what we've already said, really and truly. Shout out to Kevin Betsy, shout out to Young Waters for signing a pro deal. So it is what it is. I did see Martinelli's interest. Well, why is notes opened on my thing? I did see some interesting comments from Martinelli in the Athletic about just how his views around playing number 9 and everything else. I'd implore you all to read it, but this done, we got that out of the way. Now we can progress into some transfer business. Not until you